What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of My Team Career Mode. Today we are here for the start of the Australian Grand Prix, and it is season 3 and round 3. So it will gonna be a dry race, and we need not worry about any weather setups for the wet weather. And we are doing some R&D upgrades so that we can improve our car. As right now we are at the bottom of the R&D chart, and we have a lot of scope to improve. So hopefully in the upcoming races we will be improving our car and competing with the likes of the Aston Martin and Williams even more closely. As I'm going for the setup, and it is going to be an aggressive setup, so I'll be just increasing the tire pressure so that I can gain the much needed straight line speed. And right now in our first push lap, it was a banker lap for us, and we just go P22. So it was not a decent lap, and so again went to the pits and improved my front wing and also put on a new set of tires so that I can improve upon, and we go P21. So obviously we are not having the qualifying pace to compete with the likes of the other teams, and for that reason we are just at P22 as our teammate is in P20. So I think our car is not suited for this track, and we have to do something for the race, otherwise it is going to be a very disappointing race. So for that we have to just improve our race pace and make some moves so that we can gain some positions. As Verstappen, Leclerc, Norris is in the top 3 of the grid, and we are at P18 and 19 as Magnussen and Schwartzman take grid penalties. So it is 5 red lights and away we go for the start of the Australian Grand Prix, and obviously this is going to be a spin city because right at the start only we just got a lot of wheel spin, which is not ideal, but we have to manage that. And there is a traffic jam in front of us as all the cars are squabbling, and they are just looking for a place to overtake as we go down the inside of Alex Albon, and we also go down the inside of a couple of more cars as the Alfa Romeo is just squeezing us a bit. So we have to be careful, otherwise we will be going for a Spinella, and we have to take avoiding action by just going off the track so that we do not make contact with the Alfa Romeo. As Latifi was just thinking of going down the inside at this chicane, and fortunately we just closed the door, otherwise it would have been another loss of front wing or us getting some damage to the side pod, which would have definitely ruined our race. As Latifi just goes ahead for a brief moment, and we cover off the apex of this turn so that we do not let Latifi to switch back up on us. And we have to play this a strategic game because obviously this track is a very difficult track to just make overtakes, and the DRS strain is quite significant as we also get some damage in the front wing. So I think in the first lap itself in the traffic we just got a wing damage to our front left wing, which is not ideal as we'll be having to suffer those wing damage for the upcoming 23 laps as well. So I was thinking that maybe we should do an undercut and get a new set of hard tires and also go for a new wing change as we go down the inside of Ocon, who just left enough space at the last turn, and we just make the move stick, and we are having to face some understeer because obviously with the damage of the wing, and medium tires are also dropping off quite significantly as this is quite a high tire deck circuit, so we have to take into consideration of that fact. And I was at this moment thinking that we should definitely go for an undercut because of the traffic in front of us. You can see there is at least 5-car train in front of us, and I think someone in front has some damage, so they are just holding up the pack a bit, which is letting us to not get away from Ocon because this DRS strain is quite powerful in this Albert Park circuit, and considering the fact that almost all the cars in front of us are our competitors, so they are having more or less the same performance as us, as we were just too close to comfort for Oscar Piastri, the homeboy, who will be trying to do some tremendous results here in this Australian Grand Prix, and for that reason he is just, but we will also not give up easily as we goes down the inside at this turn at this 90-degree right-hander, and we send one inside Oscar Piastri and make the move stick. So a GG's move for us as we go into P13 position. So I think such moves has to be done because otherwise it is very disappointing if we just cannot make those moves as we again go down the inside of a Ferrari. And obviously the Ferrari is a Constructors champion in the previous season, so he will be fighting tooth and nail as Carlos Sainz and Latifi are just behind us. And I was thinking that maybe I should go for a pits at this lap itself because the wind damage we have is giving us a lot of understeer, and it was very difficult to control our car in this situation. But Schumacher pits in front of us, and I was thinking that maybe we can beat in the next lap or in the lap 11 because the tire degradation is quite high, and it will be a difficult task to maintain those hard tires till 19 laps as Guan Yu Zhou retires from the session. So an engine failure for the Aston Martin here at this Australian Grand Prix, and a disappointing race for the young Chinese driver. So taking this into opportunity, we just go into the pits and we'll be putting on the hard tires, and also we'll be changing our front wing, as it is very much necessary to do these changes. Otherwise we were suffering a lot in the turns of the circuit because there was a lot of understeer, so which is why we are going for this wing change. And we just put on a hard tires and do a 7.6 seconds pit stop, which is quite ideal because now Latifi is just behind us and is thinking of going around the outside at this turn, but we cover off the apex and we make a clean move without any contact with Latifi. So, and Latifi also concedes a position to the Alfa Romeo, so there is a bit of squabbling going on behind us between Latifi and Piastri. So Piastri will obviously be looking to stay ahead of Latifi and even go for a move on me in this long straight, because obviously he's the homeboy and he'll be looking to gain some positions. As talking about positions, Charles Leclerc is out of the session. His engine just goes up into smoke here at the Australian Grand Prix and he just retires his car. So disappointing race for the Monegasque driver. And let's see what the other Ferrari can do, as we are having a bit of moment at this turn too, because the rear tires were not as heated up, so there was a bit of oversteer, I would say. And obviously I had to acclimatize with the condition that we have a new front wing, so it will be at least 3-4 laps of challenge for us to get acclimatized with the steering or the turn in of the car. So we have to just be careful of that fact. And now we are just sending it absolute send, because we'll be doing some laps which are just qualifying laps, because we have to undercut the other teams, as Ocon is just in front of us and we make the undercut work, as we just go around the outside and just give him enough of space for him. Otherwise he would have collided with us, which is not necessary at this moment. And we just go down the inside at this turn and make the move stick. And now we are just looking forward and aiming our guns on Alex Albon, who is 4 seconds in front of us. But before that, we can see that Ocon is just fighting tooth and nail, because obviously it is hard racing and no driver wants to concede the position easily, as Ocon just gives us a little bit of push at the third sector. And now we are just ahead of him, but only by a fraction of the margin. At least he's within half a second behind us, so we have to just be careful and not make any spinalas or rather any silly mistakes, because obviously you will get punished if you just make some mistakes, because the other teams have superior straight line speed and also their cornering ability is too good. So at least if we can stick into the DRS train of Ocon, we can at least gain the positions, as we just try to go down the inside of Ocon, but he just covered off the apex and we just couldn't make the move at the lap 19. But we are sensing an opportunity. We will be doing some moves ahead in this Australian GP, as we just went too close for comfort to the diffuser of Ocon, and we were just sending it absolute send, because you can see how much ERS we have been using, and it is necessary to use the ERS to stay in DRS of the car in front, because the DRS train is quite powerful. And now Lewis Hamilton joins the party. So Hamilton is looking to go around the outside at this turn, but we just cover off the apex, and now it is going to be a fight between me and Mercedes of Hamilton. So I think this is the first time in our career season that Hamilton is just behind us, because earlier in the season 2 of Dutch Grand Prix we just defeated George Russell by a fraction of a second in the final lap. So obviously that is one wonderful episode. You can just watch it in the playlist. So right now the other Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton is just behind us, and we have to defend everything, because obviously the Mercedes is in the top 4 positions of the constructors, and they are improving a lot over the seasons, because in the first season they were not as powerful, but gradually over the second season they have improved a lot, and they are a team to look forward to in this third season, as they also retained their driver lineup. So they are having some good team spirit. And let's see, as Hamilton is thinking of going down the inside at this right turn, but we just give enough of space and a little bit of wheel banging, but fortunately neither of us got any damage, and we just continue to move in our race, as Hamilton was again thinking of going down the inside at this left right chicane, but we just managed to cover our car right at the apex and make the move stick. But we are just struggling with the speed, and also the tire degradation is kicking in, and obviously the Mercedes is a superior car to us, so we have to just be mindful of that, as we cannot just defend like this forever, because at some moment of time the Mercedes will definitely overtake us. But it is the moment which we will decide, because obviously we are ahead of him and we are just trying to control our position here at the Australian Grand Prix, because we are at P12. So Mercedes, now Lewis Hamilton is thinking of going around the outside, but we again just cover off the apex and we make the move stick. And now you can see Lewis Hamilton is just again thinking of around the outside going at this turn. So Hamilton is just too frustrated staying behind our car, and it is obvious because still we are at the back marker, and any championship winning car will not prefer to stay behind a back marker team. So for that reason, I think Hamilton is a little bit frustrated and he's just making the most it, and he's using plenty of ARS, and we have a little bit of contact with Hamilton, but fortunately we did not make any damage to him or to us. And as you can see here, we were so close to the diffuser Hamilton. I thought we just lost our front wing, but fortunately we did not, but we still get the DRS and stay in the DRS train of Hamilton. And right now we are just thinking that if we can stay in the DRS train of Hamilton, we can make some moves in the upcoming laps. As now Ocon is defending from Hamilton, so Ocon is just pushing back Hamilton to our DRS train, and which is a good thing because Ocon is our rival and Hamilton is just in front of us. But you know, Hamilton makes a championship move, so obviously he's a 7-time world champion. So he just goes around the outside at this 90-degree right-hander and makes the move stick. So now Hamilton is free; he can go as fast as he can. As you can see here, he almost cleared 1.4 seconds to Ocon here at this lap, and I was in a good swing at this moment. And you can see we just make the move stick at the 90-degree right-hander. And I was thinking that this is the race done, so we can claim to the P12 and P11 position, but we make a spinella. Yes. So we make a spinella at the Australian Grand Prix, which just ruins our race even further, and we lose 5 positions. So from P12 we went to P17. What a bottle. So we bottled it at lap 27, and later in the final lap we just overtook Piastri, the homeboy. So I would say the race was going well, at least till the lap 27, but that spinella and that crash, just because I just mounted on the curb, which just led to a lot of wheel spin and I just lost the back end. So a disappointing last 3 laps, I would say, but overall it was a good recovery drive, and had we not had that spin at the curb, we would have definitely gained P12 position. So yeah, let's see what we can achieve as Hamilton goes to P10. So this shows the character of the guy. So he definitely overtook a lot of cars as our teammate is in P19. So let's see what the upcoming races can bring as we move further down in the Drivers' Championship. So we have a lot of work to do in the upcoming races, and still there are 13 rounds to go. So we have a lot of things to improve as we are P9 in the Constructors' Championship. So yeah, this was the Australian Grand Prix, and thank you guys for watching this video, and hit like and do subscribe this channel for daily F122 content as we do some charity work and give large donation to a charity. So GG's to us, and we will meet you again in the next video, which will be at the Chinese Grand Prix. So till then, peace.